What is a watch thing?
All right, good morning. It is July the 13th. We're going to do the recap for July the 12th, Wednesday, July the 12th, day number 37, I believe. And the journal post of that day is train your mind to see the good in every situation. Train your mind to succeed. Let's jump over at the share screen now. Here we go. Bible verse yesterday, Philippians 4:8 reads, finally, a believer's whatever is true, whatever is honorable and worthy of respect, whatever is right and confirmed by God's word, whatever is pure and wholesome, whatever is lovely and brings peace, whatever is admirable and of good repute. If there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think continually on these things, center your mind on them, and implant them in your heart. All right. It's in your mind. Let's talk about these tickers and let's recap video motivational video listing because it's nice. All right, where are we at? Lots of trades. Busy day yesterday. A little bit all over the place, but it's good. Good. NRG, big utility company in Texas. Hard to see the plays, but nice shorties. 1924s, closing them out right at 19. Got them. I also put on there, did some adding to the winner. Got that from my new mentor, Pottering. Actually worked out good. Out 15 minutes too soon. Watch this. Shorty got him. Snap. Look at that 30 more cents down to 610. Tighten up. 610. That's where the gap started. So let's return to the gap start before you bounce again. Maybe there's an opportunity to buy there from 610 to 642. Very good tickers yesterday. I love these tickers. TVIX, not a lot of movement, right? Being careful with it. Got down to 19.8. Who cares? I'm short at 20.07, I think, 20.02. Basically scratch. We'll take the green, though. Transaction fees. Pay for them. AOI. Man, 50 cent net loss. Now, this was one that kind of dragged me all day. All right. Short gap closure, adding close out. But strategic in the plays though, positions that were built and comfortable with the loss. Wrong way this one, got them heavy when I found out about the offering though. It's my first ARNA play. And later we turned it super green. IMGN, this one didn't take profit at golden ratio support. It should have been green instead of we taking a 2% loss. But 677, great first entry, 9:44 in the morning. Then I added at the golden ratio. Okay, so Pottering got me adding here. All right, ends up going up to 683. And if you look at the chart, didn't it bounce here at 661? All right. That was an area for me to take the profit because it was clear support. So while we may add to the winners, we have to be mindful that the chart doesn't care about you adding. Note to self. Snap, got him. Missed so much down. I was heavy on this play too. This might have been one to add to because this breaks through that little bit of support. And then look at the run down there, the 15.2 area. All right, we're within almost 1% of a solid dollar mark. And I think 15.50, 55. I thought it was 50.55. Yeah, 15.50. Nice area to be short. Pushed against me 8 cents only. Nice move down. I've been a little bit late too. RCII, we busted them up. All right, shorty cover. And we got another RCII play too. Here's that other one. Heavy push until, they went through the solid dollar mark. Here's what you do, right? Solid dollar mark. It's a heavy play too. Get tight. It's a solid dollar. All right. Last time we touched 12, what we do? Jumped up. That's good execution on the exit. And glad we did because look what it did. It ran to 12.4. It went 3% that direction. So clearly that was an opportunity to be long. Pottering got me thinking about my long situations too. I think I was along somebody yesterday. Later snaps, gold 626. Again, work on patience, sir. What's the rush? We here all day. Shorty, Go with 626. Got him. Actually went almost down to 620 before it bounced. But the 640 area was nice. All right. Lower high, lower high, lower high. It was coming. A little more patience. A little more patience. All right, what else we got? TK, check. Winner, again, out early. Talking about this patience situation. Look at this exit 6.7. Look at that phase 6.6 gap closure. Right, there was no reason to get out right there. It wasn't pressing back up, wasn't doing anything. So we're gonna work on that today. Actually, I'm probably gonna smash everything on the exits today. I do believe it. Nice play for Kara, all right? Late, but boom, give me that Kara check. Went all the way down to 13.2, which was the goal. Look at this gaps up situation. 12.6, 14, whatever it was, 14.2. Right, it made a top drop, came back, double top. Man, that's a good spot to be entering down and push them down. Man, good play though, either way. It's nice position size. OCUL. Oh, C. You gonna pay me the check? Got you. And this one was nice as it ran up to 16, whatever, 50% retrace. Beautiful play if you bust them up there. ARNA, accumulating, get paid. So shorty, lots of shorty. What? Y'all got an offering. What are y'all doing up here? Wait for it. Boom. Didn't take the first solid dollar mark, trying to see if it's going to snap. Comes back to the next solid dollar mark. Go and get out these folks. Well, you clearly can see that they were manipulating this one all day. And I don't even tweet about tickers, but I tweeted at least 10 times or stock tweeted and tweeted about ARNA offering. Guess what I wake up to this morning? 24.61. And they also have news that the offering price is, and I thought I said this yesterday in my tweet. We're going to go find it in a second. Where is that offering? Ta-da! 5:05 in the morning. I told y'all that yesterday. $24 per share. Let's go find that tweet. Let's go find that tweet. Offering being squeezed to keep above 25 nicely. 24.33 ARNA low of offering day, yet we sit near open price. Y'all stop faking and baking. So understand the game. As long as you understand the game, it's all good. So we busted them up big on that last one. Train your mind to succeed. And we'll get ready for pre-market prepping here in just a minute.
What's up?
For a moment, consider the things your mind has brought you. Everything you have, your work, your relationship with your family and others, your philosophy of life, all come to you as a result of using your mind. Now consider the estimate made by experts. You have probably been operating on less than 10% of your mental capacities, much less. Man is using a very small fraction of his capacity. Neurological research at the UCLA Brain Research Institute points to enormous abilities latent in everyone by suggesting an incredible hypothesis. The ultimate creative capacity of the human brain may be, for all practical purposes, they pointed out, infinite. Man is a vast storehouse of data. But we have not learned how to program ourselves to utilize these data for problem-solving purposes. Man, under average conditions of work and life, uses only a small part of his thinking equipment. If he were able to force our brain to work at only half its capacity, we could, without any difficulty whatever, learn 40 languages.
The reason that people don't do stuff, one is it's hard, and two is it's risky. I think history belongs to the doers. And I think you should take a risk. Risk actually looks like is not doing something that you will then spend the rest of your life regretting. I think most people give up on things way too early. So the mistake that most people make is they try something, it does not immediately work.
Living successfully, getting the things we want from life, is a matter of solving the problems which stand between where we now are and the point we wish to reach.
Be the person that does more for others.
No one is without problems. They're a part of living.
Life will just be anything you want out of it, really is what it is. And so the way to do that is every day work harder on yourself than anything else. Because if you become more intelligent, more valuable, more skilled, you can add more value to other people.
Yeah, I think if you don't actually believe what you're doing is really important, if you don't derive satisfaction from what you're doing, then you will not be able to sustain all of the bad things that happen in an incredibly long period of time that the bad things happen over. And so the only motivation that I have seen work for people over a long period of time is enjoyment in what they're doing and an intense belief that it matters. It's totally cool when people start off saying, well, I want to make money or I want to be famous. I think a lot of people start that way and they don't like to admit it. But pretty quickly, or at least in the first few years, I think a lot of people find a deeper mission for why they do what they do. And that drives them then for the rest of the time they work.
So the point is you don't have to wait in line. You don't have to do it the way everybody else has done it. You can do it your way. You can break the rules. That's rule number one.
It is the generally accepted theoretical view of man's mental potentialities. Now, how can we tap this gigantic potential? Well, it's a big and very complex problem with many ramifications. But as Herbert Otto points out, it is clear that persons who live close to their capacity, who continue to activate their potential, have a pronounced sense of well-being and considerable energy. They see themselves as leading purposeful and creative lives. But believe me when I say that your mind can be compared to an undiscovered gold mine. Look at it this way. Your goal is in the future. Your problem is to bridge the gap which exists between where you are now and the goal you intend to reach. This is the problem to solve. Successful people are not people without problems. They're simply people who learn to solve their problems.
Ignore people telling you your idea is bad. They may be right, but the only way to know is to actually build it out. And in most of the rest of the world, the default response when you tell someone your idea is to say, oh, that's not going to work. And this is really toxic for startups, because you have to believe in yourself. And the good ideas, because they sound like bad ideas, are so fragile and so killable. that you have to be really careful to insulate yourself against this.
We don't do anything without an idea. So they're beautiful gifts. Desiring an idea is like a bait on a hook.
Yeah.
It can pull them in. And if you catch an idea that you love, that's a beautiful, beautiful day. And you write that idea down so you won't forget it. And that idea that you caught might just be a fragment of the whole, whatever it is you're working on, but now you have even more bait. Thinking about that small fragment, that little fish, will bring in more, and they'll come in and they'll hook on. And more come in, and pretty soon you might have a script. Or a chair, or a painting, or an idea for a painting. More often than not, small fragments. I like to think of it as, in the other room, the puzzle is all together. But they keep flipping in just one piece at a time.
After 7 weeks, they say, you know what, I tried this thing. It's just not meant to be, and I have too many other projects, so they immediately give up. Being young and unknown and poor, that is actually a great gift in terms of the amount of risk you can take.
That's a beautiful thing to think about.
Like, a lot of people ask me, like, I was where you were once, can't you help me? And I was like, well, the difference was when I was where you were, I never asked anybody for help. I just did it myself. So it's always better if you can do it yourself. You feel better at the end of the day.
These things are really hard. They take a very long time. There are a lot of critics. There are a lot of people who say this thing sucks. It's going to fail. It's really stupid. Most of the founders that I have spent a lot of time with that have gone on to be super successful spent a very long time on their idea when a lot of other people would have given up.
There's always a sense that people have that it's really hard to come up with answers. All the answers have already been discovered in one way or another, and I think that's not the case. And I sort of divide things up into conventions, which are things everybody knows to be true. At the other extreme, there are mysteries, things that nobody can figure out, and in between are these things that I call secrets, which are things that you could figure out. They're hard, but if you really work at it, you could figure something out. There are many secrets left to be discovered. I actually think that this is a somewhat non-conventional view, is that most secrets have been discovered and that there's nothing new to find. And so I think there are a lot of fields where new things can be found. We're often discouraged by sort of a version of globalization. We think there are 7 billion other people in the world, and there will always be someone who will have already thought of it. And if no one will have thought of it before us, it must be almost impossibly hard. And so it ends up being this sort of self-fulfilling thing where we don't even try. And I do think the only people who will discover secrets are people who work at it. Many of these great companies have something like this at the core.
Let me show you how much time we waste in worrying about the wrong problem. Here's a reliable estimate of the things people worry about. Things that never happen, 40%. Things over and past that can't be changed by all the worry in the world, 30%. Needless worries about our health, 12%. Petty miscellaneous worries, 10%. Real, legitimate worries, 8%. 93% of the average person's worries take up valuable time, cause painful stress, even mental anguish, and are absolutely unnecessary. And of the real, legitimate worries, there are two kinds. There are the problems we can solve, and there are the problems beyond our ability to personally solve. But most of our real problems usually fall into the first group, the ones we can solve, if we learn how. The only thing in the world that can take you to your goals in life is your mind, its effective use, and following through on the good ideas it supplies you. Each of us has a tendency to underestimate his or her own abilities. We should realize that we have, deep within ourselves, a reservoir of great ability, even genius.
There still is a frontier left, and the frontier is not infinitely far away. But there are many places where you can still get to the frontier. There are many directions you can go where the frontier is close and where there's a lot left to be discovered.
Now I'm going to assume you've decided upon a goal. Your problem is, how do I achieve it? Your goal may be a promotion, a greater income, a beautiful home. It makes little difference what your goal happens to be. But you have your goal, and you know that you will become and you will achieve what you think about. That is, if you stay with it, you will reach your goal. But how? Well, it's right here that your mind comes into play. What is your mind? No one knows for sure. Perhaps the best way to describe it is to quote Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright Archibald MacLeish. The only thing about a man that is a man is his mind. Everything else you can find in a pig or a horse. The human mind is the one thing that separates us from the rest of the creatures on Earth. In order to reflect just a moment on the human mind, consider what it's accomplished. Human knowledge has advanced more in the past 50 years than in all the preceding 10,000 years of human civilization. We're entering an entirely new age of man, the age of the mind, and you own one, free and clear. Pick 1 hour a day on which you can fairly regularly count. And during this hour every day, take a completely blank sheet of paper. At the top of the page, write your present primary goal, clearly, simply. Then, since our future depends upon the way in which we handle our work, write down as many ideas as you can for improving that which you now do. Face it with faith and bend all the great powers of your mind toward solving it. And believe me, solve it. You will. It's like spending 5 hours a week digging in a solid vein of pure gold, because your mind is all of that and much more. 2, if everything you now have is the result of using, say, 5 to 10% of your mental abilities, you can imagine what life will be like if you can increase this figure to 20% or more. Successful people are not people without problems. They're simply people who've learned to solve their problems. Just one great idea can completely revolutionize your work and, as a result, your life. Just one great idea can completely revolutionize your work and, as a result, your life.
All right, watch list coming right now. Let's get it on there. All right, watch what's coming.